Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk a bit about the B2 visa. I have had people recently, it seems more than normal, both email me and come into my office and just state stuff that's just blatantly in violation of the B1 and B2. And I thought I'd put a video out there, explain it a bit, and give some guidance on what can and can't be done on the B2. So let me give you an example. So for example, I get an email that says, I started my business, and it was some state, Oklahoma or something. I started my business in Oklahoma. I come to the U.S. on B2 every 4 months, and then I leave for a month, and then I come back to continue my business. Well, and basically this guy wanted to know if there would be problems continuing that. Well, first of all, B2, there's a B1/B2. The B2 part of it is to visit, okay, purely to visit. That's when, you go to Disneyland, you go to New York, you see the Empire State Building, you visit family, friends, and then you leave, okay? The B1 part of it is for business, but it's not for business inside the United States with United States customers for a business that you have in the United States. It's basically like, let's say you have some clothing firm in France, and you come to the U.S. to negotiate distribution contracts from companies here to send to your company in France, okay? So you're not doing business here in the United States. You're negotiating contracts and so forth for business you're doing in your home country. There's a huge difference. And so by trying to get around having to do a real business visa, what you are really doing is you are violating your status on a B2 and or B1. And by the way, if you tell them what you're doing when you come in, they're not going to let you in, which is the reason you're asking me the question, okay? I mean, I think a lot of people know the truth to the matter, because if you go in at the port of entry and they say, well, why are you coming into the United States? And you say, well, I'm coming in on my B1, B2 visa because I started a business 3 years ago. I'm going to stay for 4 months, make lots of money, and then I'm going to exit for a month, and then I'm going to come back again. Naturally, that would be, okay? And so there's all kinds of business type visas you can get. The E2, the L1, you can get some, companies to petition you, H1B, H2B, O1, we can go on, it's alphabet soup, but it's not B1, B2, okay? And if you were to tell them that you're coming into the U.S. to negotiate contracts, maybe see a conference, do whatever on the B1 part of the B2, then your stay is going to be limited only really to 1 month to 3 months, not the 6 months. It's very, very rare someone gets a B1 part on the 6 months. Now, just so you know, the ESTA from Europe, the visa waiver countries, who also come in on, like visa waiver, for example, be designated WB or WT. WT for tourists, WB for business. Again, business is limited to the negotiations and so forth you would do for your company outside the United States. Okay, some people, as you can see, seem to mistake that for doing all kinds of businesses while in the United States. You have to ask yourself, if they have all these business visas that you have to apply for that takes a lot more time, money, and hard work, why would they make those if you could so easily do exactly the same thing on a B1 or a WT or ESTA? Okay, all of those are just for visiting, basically. And so, all in all, what you want to do is you want to maintain the proper intent when you come in the country. So you have to understand that the law says you come in on a B1, B2, you are intending on staying here forever. So naturally, that's like guilty until proven innocent, but that's the way it is. So you have to prove them wrong at the interview. I've also had people who say, I prepared everything. I have, my job and houses and all my family, and I walked in and said 4 words and they denied it. I want to appeal. Okay, well, there is no appeal for a denial of a B2. Um, there's ways of doing motions to reopen and so forth, but to be honest, they have so much discretion, and they being the consulate has so much discretion that they would be able to deny it for legitimate reasons in a very short period of time. Okay, you don't have the right to have the B1, B2. You're applying for it. You have to basically put forward a sufficient application in order to get it approved. Okay, so lots of different issues with the B1, B2. So if you like the video, click like, subscribe. We just sort of touched on a couple subjects here, and I'll put more on the videos coming in the future. You can also give my office a call for a free consultation to help you with whatever your immigration situation is. Okay, more in the coming videos.